The echo of an old wound isn't just a memory, it's a silent sentinel, guarding the gates of your deepest self, often preventing the adult you are today from truly stepping into your power. For too long, perhaps, we've allowed these unseen guardians, these fragments of our past, selves the hurt child, the frightened adolescent, the misunderstood youth, to dictate the very contours of our present reality, to whisper fears into our ambitions, and to hold the reins of our emotional responses. We carry these invisible weights, these unresolved moments etched not on skin, but on spirit, believing they are the indelible marks of our identity, the permanent record of our pain, the unchangeable narrative of our lives. But what if that belief, as deeply ingrained as it may feel, as much as it might cling to your every thought, is merely a shadow, a fleeting illusion cast by an incomplete understanding of who you truly are and what immense, boundless potential you are truly capable of unlocking? What if the very act of clinging to that definition, of allowing the echoes of past pain and the voices of that younger, vulnerable self to dictate your every step, every decision, every aspiration, is the only thing truly holding you back from a magnificence that lies dormant, waiting to be awakened, a boundless potential that far transcends any past wound, any past setback, any past sorrow. The truth, often obscured by the fog of suffering, by the relentless tide of memory, by the overwhelming weight of what has transpired, is that while trauma may have visited your life, leaving its undeniable footprint, it does not own your life. It is not your essence. It is an experience, a profound, undeniable experience, one that has undoubtedly shaped you, molded you, and etched itself into your history. But it is not the sum total of your being, not the entirety of your magnificent story, not the final chapter of your existence. And understanding this, truly internalizing this truth, not just intellectually, but at the very core of your spirit, allowing it to seep into your bones and reshape your perception, is the first, most crucial step on a journey from merely surviving to genuinely thriving, from merely existing to truly living a life of purpose, joy, deep fulfillment, and profound meaning. This isn't about forgetting the past or pretending it didn't happen. It's about reframing its significance, recognizing that the past, especially the tender past of your inner child, is a teacher, a powerful source of wisdom, but never, ever a jailer. It's about consciously choosing to author a new, more expansive, and more empowering narrative for your life, starting right now, in this very moment, with compassion for the child you once were, and power for the adult you are becoming. Consider for a moment the very fabric of existence, not just yours, but of all great endeavors, all revolutionary creations, all monumental shifts in human progress that have shaped our world, was the incandescent bulb, that enduring symbol of human ingenuity, born perfect and fully formed in Edison's mind. No, it was the product of thousands upon thousands of attempts, each one a failure by conventional metrics, each one a filament that burned out, a design that didn't work, a hypothesis that proved false. Yet, Edison famously declared, "I have not failed 0 times I've successfully found 10 ways that will not work." He didn't see the demolition of his previous attempts as personal defeat, as a sign of his inadequacy. He saw them as crucial information, as essential data points. Each discarded prototype wasn't a ruin, but a lesson learned, clearing the path, narrowing the possibilities, guiding him closer to the ultimate solution. He understood that the process of creation often begins with deconstruction, with the dismantling of what doesn't serve the larger vision, with the identification of what is inefficient or flawed. And in the journey of healing the inner child, we engage in a similar process of dismantling. We don't dismantle the child themselves, but the faulty wiring, the outdated coping mechanisms, the protective walls built in fear, the limiting beliefs absorbed in innocence that now restrict the magnificent adult you are today. Your life, in its aftermath of setback, might feel like those initial failed experiments, a series of blown fuses, a blueprint that didn't hold. Perhaps your inner child built defenses that were necessary then, survival strategies in a world that felt overwhelming or unsafe. But like Edison, you, the adult you are now, hold within you the extraordinary capacity to interpret this moment, not as a terminal failure, but as a critical iteration, a profound learning opportunity. The ground has been cleared. The old, less effective structures, the emotional patterns, the self-sabotaging behaviors, the fear-based reactions have been revealed for what they were, necessary at one time, but now obsolete. Now, you possess invaluable data, forged in the very fires of experience, about what doesn't work for the adult. This knowledge, purchased at a high price of past suffering, is the true treasure, the foundation upon which your next, more resilient, and truly brilliant invention, your integrated self, your future can be built. This is not about the absence of pain or the erasure of your history, but about the profound recognition that even in moments of perceived wreckage, even in the revelation of deep-seated childhood wounds, there is inherent, potent information, a blueprint for authentic self-construction. And this potent information isn't about dwelling in the past, nor is it about minimizing the sting of loss or the weight of the wreckage that childhood trauma can leave behind. It's about understanding the alchemical process by which adversity transmutes into strength, how moments of profound difficulty reveal inner resources you never knew existed, particularly the profound resilience of that child within you who survived. Look at Andrew Carnegie, a man who rose from the humblest beginnings, a Scottish immigrant, to become an industrial titan who shaped an entire era. His journey was not a seamless ascent. It was riddled with brutal competition, economic downturns, and intense labor disputes that could have broken a lesser spirit. Yet, Carnegie navigated these storms not by wishing them away, not by ignoring the harsh realities, but by seeing them as opportunities for growth, as tests of character, as crucibles in which his resilience was forged. He understood that the immense pressure of the steel industry, much like the immense pressure applied to raw iron in a blast furnace, didn't destroy, it purified, it hardened, it created something infinitely stronger and more valuable. He consistently transmuted setbacks into stepping stones, overwhelming losses into profound lessons, and the paralyzing fear of ruin into an urgent, driving fuel for innovation and expansion. This wasn't a denial of hardship, but a masterful reframing of its purpose, a recognition that the very forces that sought to crush him could, in fact, be harnessed to make him unbreakable. Your past setbacks, your childhood wounds, your moments of deep pain, they are not inherently good or bad in a moral sense. They simply are. They are events that have occurred, leaving their indelible marks. Much like the process of shaping metal leaves its impression, much like the forces of nature carve mountains and valleys. The meaning, the power, the enduring impact they have on your life is largely determined by the lens through which you choose to view them, by the narrative you consciously decide to construct around them, by the internal story you tell yourself, and more importantly, by the deliberate, intentional actions you choose to take in their wake, by the way you choose to move forward. Guided by newfound compassion for your inner child, are those past experiences anchors, heavy weights dragging you down into the depths of despair and inertia, holding you captive to a past that no longer exists, a past that you cannot change? Or are they the very pressure points that can compress your potential, forcing you to develop new capacities, new insights, new forms of resilience, forging a diamond of unparalleled strength and clarity from the rough carbon of your experience? This diamond, forged in the fires of your personal journey, gives you an unparalleled insight into the human condition, a profound empathy for others' suffering, and a fierce, unwavering strength that those who have not suffered can never truly possess. The choice, though often obscured by the fog of pain, by the relentless weight of memory, by the seemingly insurmountable odds, is ultimately and profoundly yours to make. It is a choice that demands courage, not the absence of fear, for fear will almost certainly be present, often rooted in the fears of that young self, but the willingness to act in spite of it, to step forward even when your knees are trembling and your heart is pounding, knowing that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it, the unwavering decision to to nurture and integrate your inner child as you rebuild. This choice, this profound act of reframing your past and stepping into your power, begins in the silent, powerful, and often underestimated chambers of your own mind. It begins with taking ownership of your internal landscape, recognizing that while external events may impact you, while the echoes of a wounded inner child may resonate, your internal response, your interpretation, your emotional landscape is ultimately yours to command. We often talk about mindset as a simple switch, a quick flick from negative to positive, a superficial adjustment of attitude, a trivial change that doesn't touch the deeper wounds, but it's far deeper than that. It's the bedrock upon which all recovery and transformation are built, the foundational operating system through which you perceive reality, interpret events, process emotions, and respond to the vast, complex, and often challenging tapestry of life. Imagine Walt Disney, a man whose name is synonymous with dreams and imagination, after the catastrophic loss of his first, highly successful creation, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Not only was Oswald stolen from him by a predatory distributor, but most of his animators were poached, sabotaging his burgeoning studio and threatening to derail his entire career just as it was beginning to take flight. A deep wound, an undeniable betrayal, the kind that can make an adult feel as helpless as a child. The conventional wisdom, the logical, emotionally understandable path would have been to quit, to succumb to the bitterness of betrayal and financial ruin, to give up on his dream of animation forever, perhaps even to seek endless retribution. Consumed by anger and resentment, most people, facing such a devastating blow, would have retreated, licking their wounds, paralyzed by a sense of profound injustice, much like a wounded child might retreat into silence. But Disney's mind didn't dwell on the theft, on the injustice, on the unfairness, on what he had lost. It pivoted, with astonishing agility and unwavering belief, to creation, to generating something new and even better, something that was entirely his own. From the ashes of Oswald, from that moment of profound disappointment, betrayal, and professional devastation, arose Mickey Mouse, a character born not of naive optimism, but of fierce determination, unyielding imagination, and an unshakable belief in the power of his own creative genius to overcome any obstacle, to build something entirely new from nothing. He understood a fundamental truth. The external world could inflict wounds, could steal his creations, could betray his trust, could take his financial resources, but it could not, unless given explicit, conscious permission, penetrate and destroy the inner sanctuary of his creative spirit, the wellspring of his vision, the boundless realm of his imagination, the very source of his power. Your mind is that sanctuary, that sacred, inviolable space, that inner kingdom where your true power resides. It's the place where narratives are formed, where beliefs are solidified, where the seeds of your future are either carefully cultivated and nurtured with conscious effort and compassion for the child within, or left to wither and die, choked by the weeds of regret, resentment, and self-doubt, consumed by the lingering shadows of the past. If your internal dialogue is perpetually recounting the trauma, if your thoughts are consumed by the what-ifs, the if-onlys, and the constant reliving of past hurts, the endless replays of what could have been different, then you are, in essence, unconsciously rebuilding the prison of your past, brick by painful brick, reinforcing the very walls that keep you from moving forward, from experiencing the freedom and vitality of the present moment. It's an act of unconscious self-sabotage, an echo of the original pain that keeps you tethered to a narrative that no longer serves you, a story that does not reflect your true potential, your inherent worth, or your capacity for boundless joy. It is a choice, even if an unconscious one, to remain bound, to stay confined within the very story that seeks to limit you, and to deny the healing that awaits your inner child. The antidote to this self-imprisonment, this unconscious tethering to the past, this perpetual reliving of old wounds and grievances, lies in cultivating a clear, vivid vision of what you want to build, what you want to create, what kind of life you want to live, what kind of person you want to become. rather than perpetually dissecting what was broken, what was lost, what went wrong. It's about shifting your focus from the rearview mirror, endlessly fixated on the past, to the vast, open road ahead, brimming with possibility. Clarity is the compass in the wilderness of recovery, the unwavering lighthouse guiding you through the storm-tossed seas of memory and emotion, providing a fixed point of reference when everything else feels adrift, when the emotional currents threaten to pull you under. Without it, you drift, aimless and vulnerable, at the mercy of every passing current of despair, every internal whisper of self-doubt, every old wound that threatens to resurface and demand your attention, pulling you back into the undertow. Think of Abraham Lincoln, a man whose life was marred by personal tragedies of unimaginable depth. The deaths of loved ones, the persistent shadow of profound depression that plagued him throughout his life, the relentless criticisms from all sides, and the agonizing, crushing weight of a nation torn asunder by civil war, facing the very real possibility of its dissolution. Yet, through it all, through his profound personal sorrow and the immense national turmoil, he held a singular, unyielding vision: the preservation of the Union and the abolition of slavery. This wasn't a vague hope, a fleeting wish, a comfortable dream. It was a deeply etched image in his mind, a moral imperative that guided every decision, every weary step, every difficult compromise, every agonizing choice, every public address, every word he spoke. He didn't allow his profound personal suffering to obscure his national purpose. In fact, one could argue that his capacity for empathy, honed in the fires of his own sorrow, made him uniquely suited to lead a fractured nation toward healing, to understand the suffering of others, because he knew it so intimately himself. His own pain became a bridge to connect with the collective pain of a nation, allowing him to lead with a profound compassion and understanding, becoming a source of comfort for the collective inner child of America. What is your vision? Not of a life without trauma, for that is an impossible and ultimately unhelpful framing, a chasing of an illusion that keeps you perpetually yearning for something that cannot be, but of a life beyond it, a life that incorporates it, learns from it, and transcends it, a life where your inner child feels safe, seen, and loved. What does that life look like, feel like, sound like, when you are living fully, authentically, purposefully, with all your awakened strengths, with a renewed sense of vigor and vitality? What are you creating, building, becoming, contributing to the world, to your community, to your family, to your own sense of self, nurturing that vulnerable part of you that craves safety and belonging? The more specific you are, the more vividly you can paint this mental picture, engaging all your senses, allowing yourself to truly feel its reality, as if it were already happening. The more powerful it becomes as a magnetic force, pulling you forward with an irresistible draw, drawing new possibilities into your orbit, attracting the resources, the connections, the opportunities you need to make it manifest. It's not about escaping the past. It's about building a future so compelling, so vibrant, so filled with meaning and purpose, so rich with potential, that the past loses its suffocating power to hold you captive, becoming instead a background note, a part of your rich, complex story, a source of profound wisdom, but never, ever the defining anthem of your existence. It becomes context, not definition, a powerful foundation to build upon, not a rigid ceiling to constrain you. And in doing so, you offer healing and a new story to your inner child. And this clear, compelling vision leads us inevitably to purpose. Vision provides the destination, the clear objective, the blueprint for what you are building, the architectural plan for your future self and your future life. But purpose provides the engine, the unwavering drive, the relentless inner fuel to get there, even when the road is obscured by fog or riddled with potholes, even when fatigue sets in and doubts whisper in your ear, even when external circumstances conspire against you, even when the weight of the past threatens to pull you down. Speaking through the voice of your inner child, Viktor Frankl, the brilliant psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, articulated this profound truth better than almost anyone. having lived it in the most extreme, dehumanizing circumstances imaginable. Circumstances that stripped away everything one might hold dear, everything that defines a human being, leaving behind only the raw, unadorned self, imprisoned in concentration camps, stripped of everything: family, dignity, possessions, identity, even his name, reduced to a number tattooed on his arm. He observed that those who survived, those who maintained a semblance of their humanity and sanity amidst the madness, were often those who found a profound reason why, a purpose beyond their immediate suffering, a future meaning to cling to, a vision of something beyond the barbed wire and the constant dehumanization, a reason to face another agonizing day, to take another breath, to hold on to hope, whether it was the thought of reuniting with loved ones, the unfinished manuscript, the commitment to bearing witness to the atrocities so that they would never be repeated, or simply the determination to demonstrate the unyielding resilience of the human spirit. This purpose became an unbreakable lifeline in a world seemingly devoid of hope, a beacon in the darkest night, a tiny, flickering flame that refused to be extinguished. It wasn't about denying the horrific reality. It was about finding meaning within the horror, a transcendent reason to keep going, to find an answer to the profound question of why suffering existed and how one could endure it with dignity and even a sliver of hope. Your trauma, in its raw, unadulterated form, painful as it is, offers a unique, if challenging, opportunity to uncover your deepest purpose. Perhaps it's to help others navigate similar storms, sharing the invaluable lessons learned in your own crucible of suffering, transforming your personal pain into a powerful force for service and healing in the world, becoming a guide for other inner children. Perhaps it's to cultivate an even greater appreciation for life's simple joys, a profound reverence for the mundane beauty of existence, born of having known deprivation, making every moment more precious, more vibrant, more deeply felt. A gift to the child within who once knew scarcity. Perhaps it's to prove to yourself and to the universe the boundless, unyielding resilience of the human spirit, by thriving in the face of what was meant to break you, by rising stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than before, offering a triumph to that younger self. Whatever it is, whatever unique calling whispers to your soul, whatever burning desire ignites within you, when you align your actions with a compelling, deeply personal purpose, the pain of the past begins to recede, not because it's forgotten or minimized, not because it ceases to exist, but because a new, more powerful, more urgent narrative has emerged, demanding your focus, your energy, and your unwavering commitment. It's a purposeful redirection of your most precious resources, your attention, your time, and your energy, away from the gravitational pull of the past and towards the magnetic pull of a meaningful, purpose-driven future, a future you are actively, deliberately, and powerfully creating with every conscious choice, every aligned action. This is the alchemy of trauma, transforming lead into gold, turning suffering into profound meaning, and turning wreckage into a launching pad for a life of impact, a legacy of healing for yourself and for your inner child. This commitment, this unwavering purpose, then demands discipline, not the harsh, punitive discipline of deprivation or self-flagellation, not a rigid, joyless adherence to rules, but the gentle, persistent discipline of consistent action, even small, seemingly insignificant actions, taken daily. It's the quiet, often unseen, often unsung effort that builds momentum, that compounds over time to create monumental shifts, much like how a tiny stream, through consistent, relentless flow, can carve a mighty canyon, slowly reshaping the landscape, creating profound change. Henry Ford didn't build the automotive industry overnight, didn't revolutionize manufacturing in a single, sudden stroke of genius, nor did he do it with grand, spontaneous gestures alone. He did it with the relentless, almost monotonous discipline of refining processes, optimizing assembly lines, and making incremental improvements, day after day, year after year, iterating tirelessly, learning from every minor adjustment. Each screw tightened, each gear fitted, each flaw identified and corrected, each production step optimized, was a small, deliberate act of discipline, a consistent application of effort, contributing to a monumental outcome that changed the world, making the automobile accessible to the masses, transforming society for those navigating the aftermath of trauma and seeking to heal their inner child. Discipline might look like showing up for therapy when every fiber of your being wants to retreat into isolation, when the thought of confronting painful memories feels overwhelming and terrifying, when the comfort of avoidance beckons, tempting your vulnerable inner child to hide. It might be carving out 5 minutes each day for mindfulness or meditation, even when your mind races with anxieties and 1,000 demanding thoughts, even when stillness feels impossible and your inner world is a chaotic storm, a whirlwind of unwelcome emotions. It might be reaching out to a trusted friend or support group when isolation feels safer, when the temptation to withdraw from human connection is strongest, when the comfort of familiarity threatens to keep you stuck in old patterns that once served as protection for your young self. It might be the discipline of consciously shifting your focus from what was lost to what can be built, from what was taken to what can be created, from what was broken to what can be healed. Even when that shift feels like an uphill battle, a constant effort against old habits, old thought patterns, and ingrained emotional responses that have become deeply etched. These aren't heroic acts in the dramatic, movie script sense, not grand gestures that make headlines or earn thunderous applause. They are profoundly courageous, deeply personal acts of self-care and self-reclamation, quiet revolutions waged within your own spirit, foundational acts of defiance against the weight of the past. They are the small, daily victories that accumulate, like grains of sand building a formidable wall, or drops of water filling a vast reservoir to form the impenetrable, unshakable foundation of your new self, a self that is resilient, capable, and profoundly free, capable of nurturing its own inner child. Without this quiet, unwavering discipline, even the clearest vision and the most profound purpose can remain just that. Beautiful concepts, inspiring ideas, comforting dreams, never fully realized, never brought into the tangible reality of your transformed life. It is the essential bridge between intention and manifestation, between dreams and their concrete realization, between who you are now and who you are destined to become, between potential and actualization, offering a steady hand to the child within. And the beauty of this disciplined action, this consistent effort, this unwavering commitment to your own growth, is that it naturally cultivates a profound, deeply resonant gratitude. This isn't some saccharine, superficial, be thankful for everything sentiment, a forced positivity that denies the valid and deep pain you've experienced, a hollow platitude that dismisses your suffering as if it never happened. This is a profound, hard-won gratitude that emerges organically from the crucible of experience, a deep appreciation that blossoms only after knowing profound loss or suffering, a light that shines brighter having known true darkness, a warmth appreciated more deeply after having felt the chill of despair. It's the quiet, deep appreciation for the sunrise after a dark, sleepless night, for the strength in your legs even after a fall, for the resilience of your own heart after it has been broken and painstakingly, meticulously mended, leaving it stronger and more capacious than before, capable of holding more love and more compassion for yourself and for the child within. True gratitude, in the context of trauma recovery and healing the inner child, isn't about ignoring what was lost or minimizing the pain of its absence. It's about consciously acknowledging what remains, what has been gained through adversity, and the sheer miracle of your continued existence and boundless capacity for growth, for joy, for connection, for contribution. Think of those who, having survived unimaginable atrocities, the horrors of war or systemic injustice, dedicate their lives to advocacy, to peace, to the very concept of human dignity, fighting for justice and understanding, transforming their personal hell into a global calling, a movement for change, a voice for the voiceless. Their work is often fueled by a profound sense of gratitude, Gratitude for life itself, for the opportunity to prevent future suffering, for the chance to give meaning to what was once senseless and devoid of hope, for the mere fact of being able to breathe, to contribute, to love, to make a difference, to leave their unique mark on the world, to offer solace to those who suffer. This gratitude isn't a passive emotion to be felt occasionally, a fleeting positive thought. It's an active choice, a conscious practice, a profound lens through which you actively seek out the light, even in the lingering shadows, a deliberate focusing of your attention on abundance and possibility rather than scarcity and regret. It's the conscious, powerful shift from focusing on what was taken from you, on the deficits and the losses, to cherishing what can never be taken, your inner spirit, your inherent worth, your capacity for love, your unwavering potential for healing, and the sheer, undeniable fact of your continued ability to contribute to the world, to make a difference, however small, however profound, to leave your unique mark, to share your unique wisdom, to become a loving parent to your own inner child. It's an act of deep reverence for your own journey, a celebration of your own resilience, and a profound acknowledgement of the enduring beauty that can emerge from even the deepest wounds, like a lotus flower rising pure from the mud, blooming in spite of its origins. But this journey, like any great expedition into uncharted territory, like any significant undertaking that truly stretches your limits and expands your horizons, will inevitably encounter unexpected detours and unforeseen obstacles. This is not a sign of failure, not an indication that you're off track, not proof that you are fundamentally broken, but simply a fundamental, unavoidable aspect of life's unpredictable nature, a characteristic of any path worth pursuing with courage and conviction. This is where adaptability becomes not just a useful trait, not just a beneficial quality to possess, but an essential superpower, a crucial tool in your evolving toolkit of resilience and self-mastery, especially when the voice of your inner child, accustomed to rigidity, cries out for certainty. The world is a fluid, dynamic, and often unpredictable place, constantly shifting, constantly presenting new challenges, constantly demanding new responses, and the path to recovery is rarely a straight line, a perfectly paved road with no bumps or turns, no sudden changes in terrain, no unforeseen roadblocks. Life will throw curveballs you never anticipated. New challenges will arise from unexpected directions, and old wounds may, at times, like anew, unexpectedly surfacing and demanding attention, bringing with them a surge of familiar, sometimes overwhelming emotions, making the inner child feel vulnerable once more. General George S. Patton, a man renowned for his strategic brilliance in the chaos of wartime, a master of navigating uncertainty and rapidly changing circumstances on the battlefield, once famously said, "Plans are worthless, but planning is everything." He understood that the precise, rigid execution of a preset plan was often impossible on the battlefield, where circumstances changed in an instant, where the unexpected was the only constant, where conditions shifted moment by moment under the pressure of combat. But the process of planning, of thinking through contingencies and possibilities, of envisioning various scenarios and potential responses, honed the mind's ability to adapt swiftly and effectively in the face of chaos, to pivot without breaking, to find a new path forward when the old one was blocked, to improvise with purpose and confidence. Similarly, in your healing journey, while a clear vision of your desired future is absolutely vital, serving as an unwavering anchor in the storm, rigid adherence to a preconceived notion of how your recovery should unfold can be a profound trap, leading to frustration, self-blame, and renewed despair when reality inevitably deviates from your expectations. Embrace the unexpected, the unpredictable, the messy, non-linear reality of life and healing. Learn to pivot with grace and agility, like a seasoned sailor adjusting sails to the wind, responding to the ocean's dictates, knowing that your inner child will learn to trust your steady hand. If one therapeutic approach doesn't resonate, if it feels ineffective or unhelpful after a genuine, dedicated attempt, explore another. If a setback occurs, instead of seeing it as a devastating failure, a return to square one, or proof that you are fundamentally broken beyond repair. See it as an invaluable opportunity to gather new information about yourself and your healing process, to refine your approach, to adapt your sails to the changing winds of your emotional landscape, to learn what truly works for you, to discover deeper reserves of strength you didn't know existed. Your capacity to adapt is a profound testament to your innate resilience, a living, breathing proof that you are not defined by the circumstances that once sought to confine you, to break you, to diminish you, but by your dynamic, evolving response to them, by your unwavering commitment to moving forward. No matter the obstacle, it is the ultimate expression of your freedom, your autonomy, and your ability to choose your path, regardless of external conditions, regardless of the hand you've been dealt, offering a sense of stability and reassurance to your inner child. This flexibility, this capacity to bend without breaking, is your enduring strength. This adaptability, this embrace of the unpredictable, this capacity to pivot is intimately connected to resilience, often considered the cornerstone of post-traumatic growth, the very essence of thriving in the face of adversity, of transforming pain into power. Resilience isn't about avoiding the fall, about never experiencing pain or setback, about never feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges. It's about how quickly and effectively you get back up after falling, about your capacity to absorb impact and then regenerate, to bounce back stronger, more informed, more integrated, more whole. It's the profound understanding that struggle is not the absence of strength, but the very forge in which strength is hammered out, purified, and made enduring, creating a robustness that can withstand far more than you once thought possible, a deeper, more refined power that emerges from the depths of your being, a power that protects and nurtures your inner child. Consider the towering sequoia, an ancient, magnificent tree that has stood for centuries, witnessing countless storms, enduring raging fires that consume lesser trees, and surviving seismic shifts in the earth beneath it. A silent sentinel of time, a living monument to endurance. It doesn't achieve its longevity by being brittle and rigid, easily snapping under pressure, easily toppling in a strong wind, or succumbing to fire. It achieves it through flexibility, through a vast, shallow root system that intertwines with others, forming an unbreakable network of mutual support beneath the earth, anchoring it firmly, and through a trunk that can sway and bend with the fiercest winds without breaking, capable of shedding its lower branches in a fire to protect its vital core. Its strength is not in its rigidity, but in its capacity to endure, to regenerate, to persist, to find nourishment even in seemingly parched ground, to draw strength from the very conditions that threaten it, to learn from every challenge it faces throughout its long existence. Your journey through trauma and your active pursuit of healing your inner child is building this kind of deep, organic resilience within you, piece by piece, day by day, moment by moment, with every conscious choice you make to move forward, to face discomfort, to integrate your past. Each time you face a trigger, a reminder of the past, and consciously choose a healthier, more empowering response instead of reverting to old, unhelpful patterns of thought or behavior. Each time you feel overwhelmed, but continue to show up for yourself, even in small, seemingly insignificant ways. Each time you experience a setback and choose to learn from it, rather than to surrender to despair, you are strengthening your internal sequoia. You are cultivating a deep, abiding inner fortitude that will serve you not just in overcoming the lingering echoes of the past, in healing old wounds, but in navigating all the complexities and challenges of a rich, full, and meaningful life, a life brimming with possibility and purpose, a life lived on your own terms, where your inner child feels increasingly safe and secure, held by your adult strength. This isn't a theoretical concept or a feel-good platitude to be recited from a script. It's a lived reality, a tangible force, forged in the very fire of your experience, making you stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever believed possible, proving that true strength comes not from never falling, but from always rising, from integrating your pain into your power, from transforming adversity into profound personal growth and lasting inner peace. And with this resilience, this hard-won fortitude, this unshakable inner core, comes an insatiable, liberating appetite for learning, a thirst for knowledge that transcends the purely academic and extends into the deepest recesses of self-understanding. Not just academic learning from books or lectures, though those can be valuable tools for understanding the world and its complexities, but the profound, experiential learning that comes from observing your own responses, understanding the intricate mechanics of your mind and emotions, and integrating the lessons of your past into a wiser, more compassionate, and infinitely more capable present. Every challenge you face, every moment of discomfort you move through, every choice you make to heal and grow, every insight you gain into your own patterns and triggers is a master class in self-knowledge, a crucial, personalized lesson in the art of living a fulfilling, meaningful life. What triggers the distress of your inner child? What soothes that vulnerability? What practices truly nourish your spirit and replenish your energy? What are the subtle internal cues that guide you toward growth and away from stagnation, towards healing and away from re-traumatization, towards integration and away from fragmentation? This is a continuous process of self-discovery, an ongoing scientific exploration of your own being, much like a meticulous scientist in a lab, constantly experimenting, observing the results, analyzing data, refining their hypotheses, and adjusting their approach based on what they learned from each iteration. Thomas Edison, despite his celebrated genius and his monumental inventions, wasn't born with all the answers or with innate perfection. He was a tireless learner, constantly asking questions, testing theories, dissecting failures to understand their precise mechanics, extracting invaluable insights from every perceived failure, until he uncovered the path to success, until he understood precisely how to make the light glow consistently and reliably. Your journey, too, is a grand experiment, perhaps the most important one you will ever undertake, and you are both the subject and the scientist, the observer and the observed, the student and the teacher, guiding your own inner child through the learning process. The more you learn about yourself, about your unique patterns of thought and emotion, about the intricate workings of your own healing process, about what truly serves you and what hinders you, the more empowered you become, the more agency you gain over your own life, moving from a passive recipient of circumstances to an active creator of your reality. This continuous learning liberates you from the confines of past programming, from the automatic, ingrained responses that no longer serve your highest good, allowing you to consciously create new, more empowering responses to life's inevitable challenges, to build new pathways of thought and action, to forge new neurological connections that support your growth, your well-being, and your blossoming potential. It's an ongoing process of becoming, of evolving, of transcending the limitations you once believed were fixed and immutable, revealing the infinite potential that has always resided within you, waiting for your conscious recognition and deliberate cultivation. This learning transforms scars into wisdom and pain into profound, enduring power. It transforms your past into a dynamic, invaluable resource for your magnificent future, a future where your inner child feels understood, protected, and free to play. This understanding of yourself, this profound self-awareness, cultivated through the crucible of experience, allows you to step into a deeper form of mastery, not over others, not over external circumstances, but over your own destiny, over your own internal world. It's the mastery of emotional regulation, learning to navigate the turbulent waters of feelings without being capsized by them, learning to observe them without being consumed, offering a steady hand to the inner child who may have once felt overwhelmed. It's the mastery of focus, consciously directing your attention towards creation, towards possibility, towards solutions, rather than endlessly consuming and reliving past narratives of loss and regret. It's the mastery of choice, recognizing that even when circumstances are utterly beyond your control, when life delivers its harshest blows, your response, your attitude, your next action, your internal narrative. These are always within your power, your sacred domain. This isn't a quick fix or a simple mantra to be recited thoughtlessly. It is the culmination of consistent, disciplined effort, of profound introspection, of courageous vulnerability, and of an unwavering commitment to your own highest good, to your own healing and flourishing, and to the integration of your inner child. It means understanding that triggers may still arise, that memories may still flood back with a painful intensity, that grief may revisit you, but their power over you diminishes with each conscious choice to respond differently, to reroute your energy, to reframe the narrative, to choose a new thought, a new action, a new path. You are literally rewiring your brain, creating new neural pathways that lead to peace, to strength, to joy, to abundance, rather than endlessly repeating the deeply etched grooves of past pain and fear. Just as a river, encountering a dam or an obstruction, finds a way to carve a new path, to flow around, over, or through, your consciousness can forge new channels, directing your life force towards a future of your own design, a future that is not merely the absence of pain, but the presence of profound fulfillment, where your inner child is finally at peace. This is true freedom, the freedom to choose your internal landscape, regardless of external circumstances, regardless of the hand you've been dealt. It's the profound realization that you are not merely a product of your past, a consequence of what happened to you, but the active, conscious architect of your present and your future, empowered by every experience, now capable of holding and nurturing your most vulnerable parts. Every breath is a new opportunity, every moment a fresh canvas upon which you can paint a masterpiece of resilience and triumph, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The very act of engaging in this process, of choosing growth over stagnation, of embracing vulnerability as a path to strength, of seeking help when needed, is an act of profound defiance against the limiting beliefs that trauma can instill, especially the beliefs that your inner child took on to protect itself. You are reclaiming your sovereignty, asserting your inherent right to a life lived fully, authentically, and joyfully, a life vibrant with possibility, where the child within you is finally seen, heard, and loved. This journey is not about erasing the past, for that is neither possible nor desirable, but about integrating it into a tapestry so rich and complex that the threads of pain become interwoven with threads of profound wisdom, boundless empathy, and an unparalleled inner strength that only such trials can forge. It's about transforming the bitter taste of sorrow into the sweet nectar of resilience, recognizing that true depth of character is not found in the absence of hardship, but in the courage to navigate its fiercest storms and emerge with an even brighter inner light, a deeper understanding of what it means to be alive and whole. Your story, in its magnificent entirety, is a testament to the unyielding human spirit. And as you embark on this profound work of integrating your past and present, nurturing that sacred inner child, you begin to tap into the boundless wellspring of your own intuition. It's the quiet wisdom that rises from within, a knowing that transcends logic and linear thought, guiding you toward choices that truly serve your highest good, the good of your entire being, including that vulnerable, innocent part of you. In a world saturated with external noise, with endless opinions and competing demands, the ability to tune into this inner compass becomes an invaluable asset. Think of a seasoned artist, like a master sculptor, who doesn't just intellectually plan every chisel stroke, but feels the inherent form within the raw material, allowing their hands to be guided by an instinctual understanding of shape and balance. Their initial training provides technique, but it's the deep immersion, the constant practice, the intuitive flow that allows the masterpiece to emerge. Your healing journey is much like this. While therapy, self-help, and conscious practices provide the tools and techniques, it's the cultivation of an acute awareness of your own internal landscape, the ability to listen to the subtle whispers of your body and spirit that truly unlocks transformation. Your inner child, often communicating through feelings, sensations, and even urges, becomes a source of profound information, a vital connection to your authentic self. Learning to discern its needs, its fears, its joys, not with judgment, but with compassionate curiosity, is an act of profound self-love. This isn't about letting the child take over. It's about the wise adult you are now, holding that child's hand, validating their experiences, and integrating their wisdom into a more complete, more intuitive understanding of yourself. It's recognizing when a gut feeling is the fear of the past resurfacing, and when it is true, intuitive guidance leading you towards safety and alignment. This process refines your internal navigation system, allowing you to move through life with greater ease and less resistance, making decisions that are not merely logical, but deeply resonant and truly nourishing for your entire being. This refined intuition becomes a protective shield, not against experience, but against repeating old patterns that no longer serve you, a discerning eye that recognizes true opportunity from illusory temptation, a steady hand that guides you through the complex emotional terrain of a life fully lived. It is the voice of your integrated self, speaking wisdom cultivated through experience and compassion. This cultivated intuition then paves the way for authenticity, a state of being where your outer expression aligns seamlessly with your inner truth, where the adult you present to the world is congruent with the inner child you are lovingly nurturing. This is perhaps one of the most profound outcomes of true healing, shedding the masks, dropping the defenses, and dismantling the elaborate protective structures that the younger self built to survive. Napoleon Hill, in his exploration of success, often spoke of the power of a definite chief aim and aligning one's entire being towards it. Yet, this alignment is impossible if parts of ourselves remain hidden, if the authentic core, often buried under layers of conditioning and trauma, is not fully embraced. For many who have experienced early trauma, authenticity felt dangerous, a vulnerability that could lead to further pain or rejection. The inner child learned to adapt, to appease, to hide, to perform, to become what others needed, rather than who it truly was. But the cost of this protective strategy in adulthood is profound. A sense of fragmentation, a persistent underlying anxiety, a feeling of being disconnected from one's true essence. The act of healing is an invitation to reclaim these disowned parts, to lovingly welcome back the banished self, especially the innocent, wounded child who simply wanted to be seen and accepted for who they were. This means confronting uncomfortable truths, setting boundaries that might feel foreign, and perhaps, for the first time, truly expressing your needs and desires without apology. It is a radical act of self-love, a compassionate embrace of your entire story, the light and the shadow, the triumphs and the wounds. When you live authentically, you move through the world with a sense of integrity and congruence that is deeply magnetic. You attract relationships, opportunities, and experiences that are truly aligned with your soul's purpose, rather than chasing external validations that can never truly fill the void. This isn't a performance, it's an emanation. It's the quiet strength that comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you need to thrive. A knowledge born from the arduous but ultimately liberating journey of inner integration. It's the adult you, standing firmly in your power, offering a sanctuary of self-acceptance to the child within, allowing them to finally shed the burdens of pretense and simply be. Finally, as all these threads converge, as mindset and vision ignite purpose, as discipline builds resilient action, as gratitude deepens connection, as adaptability embraces change, as learning fuels growth, as intuition guides wisdom, and as authenticity unveils your true self, you arrive at the pinnacle. Contribution? This is where the healing journey transcends the personal and impacts the collective. It's where your unique story, your hard-won wisdom, your profound empathy becomes a gift to the world. For those who have healed their inner child, a unique capacity for compassion emerges, a deep understanding of human suffering, and an innate desire to alleviate it in others. Napoleon Hill emphasized that true, lasting success is often found in service, in the act of giving back. This isn't about escaping your own pain by focusing on others. It's about transforming your pain into purpose, using your experiences as a catalyst for positive change. Think of the great leaders and humanitarians throughout history, many of whom endured profound personal suffering. Their compassion, their drive to make a difference, often stemmed from their own deep wells of experience. When you share your story, when you offer your unique gifts born of your journey, when you champion a cause that resonates with your healed spirit, you not only empower others, but you reinforce your own healing. It's a virtuous cycle of giving and receiving, where the act of contributing strengthens your own sense of meaning and belonging. Your vulnerabilities become your greatest strengths, your scars become badges of honor, and your past becomes a powerful narrative of triumph, offering hope to those still lost in their own darkness. The child within you, once hidden and afraid, now stands beside you, proud of the adult they have become, proud of the impact you are making. You are not just building a life for yourself. You are building a legacy, a ripple effect of healing and empowerment that extends far beyond your immediate sphere. This is the ultimate expression of self-mastery, a life lived not just for survival or personal gain, but for the profound joy of making a meaningful difference in the world, rooted in the deepest compassion for the human experience. A compassion born from understanding and integrating your own. This is the true power of healing the inner child, unlocking an adult capable of profound love, both for themselves and for the world. So, let this truth resonate deep within you, reverberating through every cell of your being, echoing in the quiet spaces of your heart, filling you with a profound sense of liberation, agency, and boundless possibility. Trauma isn't your identity. It's not your destiny. It's not the entirety of your story. It's a chapter, a powerful, undeniably formative chapter, one filled with pain and profound lessons. Yes, a chapter that has left its indelible mark, but never, ever the entire book. You are the author, and your pen still holds the absolute, undeniable, sacred power to write the most breathtaking, resilient, and triumphant chapters yet to come. Chapters filled with purpose, joy, meaning, connection, and deep fulfillment, all guided by the wise, compassionate adult you've become, caring for the inner child who is finally safe. The pain you've endured has not diminished your light. On the contrary, it has refined it, forged it in the crucible of experience, made it more brilliant, more empathetic, more profound, and infinitely more capable of illuminating the path, not just for yourself, but for others who may be lost in their own darkness, who are still searching for their own light and struggling to find their way home. You carry within you the quiet, unshakable wisdom of battles fought and survived, the steady, undeniable strength of wounds that have healed into resilient scar tissue, forming new, stronger connections within your spirit, and the unyielding potential for a future defined not by what happened to you, not by the events that befell you, but by what you consciously, courageously, and powerfully choose to do with what remains, with the extraordinary essence of who you are now, a person deepened and strengthened by life's trials, now capable of holding and loving their inner child. Stand tall, not just because you have survived, not just because you have endured the storm, not just because you have overcome, but because you are now equipped with a depth of understanding, a profound inner fortitude, and a wisdom born of fire to truly live, to thrive, to flourish in ways you might never have imagined before the challenges came, before the trauma reshaped your landscape, before the world demanded you become more, the silence that once echoed with sorrow, with the haunting ghosts of the past, with the weight of unexpressed grief, with the fear of a repeating history, can now be filled with the resonant hum of your own magnificent becoming, the vibrant, inspiring symphony of a life lived with purpose, joy, deep, hard-won meaning, and boundless possibility. Go forth, not as a victim of your past, forever bound by its chains, but as the empowered, sovereign architect of your destiny, a living testament to the indomitable power of the human spirit, to not only endure, but to profoundly, breathtakingly, transcend, to rise from the ashes, not merely intact, but transformed, refined, and undeniably more magnificent, a beacon of hope and resilience for all who witness your journey. Your story is still being written, and the greatest, most luminous chapters are waiting for you to unleash them, to bring them to life with every conscious choice, every courageous step forward, every act of self-love and determined action. You are not defined by what happened to you, but by what you choose to do next, by the meaning you create, by the life you boldly build, by the purpose you embody, and by the profound love you extend to your own inner child, now and always.